So I'm looking forward to practicing. So we're going to come to standing at the front of our mat in Tadasana. Shoulders back and down. Drawing the tailbone down, belly in and up. Just stand there for a minute. Close your eyes, please, and shift the weight. So we're just going to get grounded literally by shifting the weight into our back left foot. See how that feels. And then over into the right heel. Back into the left heel. And you can feel the way that ripples through the body into left front toes. And then into right front toes. And then back into the left heel, which is where we started. Now spread the toes. You've got that sense of the four corners of the feet, sense of being grounded. And then on an inhale, so I'll do it and talk it. Inhale, looking up to the hands above the head. On an exhale, leaning forward, leading with the sternum. Coming forward, hands will probably come onto the legs. Let the head drop. Then inhale, push into the shins at this stage, or you can come to the floor if you want to. And then we are going to place our hands on the floor, bending the knees as much as we need to, stepping back. So we're all in plank, push up between the shoulder blades, and then exhale, come all the way down to the floor, possibly, or you can come straight through into upward dog. If you come to the floor, take your hands back a bit. Inhale, arch the back, look up, and then exhale. Ooh, there you go, back into downward dog. So it would appear that my new headphones are not an improvement on my old headphones. It might happen a few times, apologies for that. So you're looking back to the belly button or between the legs, and your ears are in line with your forearms. 5 slow, steady breaths. I'd suggest walking the dog, so that's bending the knees, just to get yourself warmed up and wake up the backs of the legs. Okay, and then we'll all walk forwards, as this is our first one. So walking forwards, coming to the front of the mat, lengthen through the spine, release, look to the knees, bring the hands up above the head, don't release them yet. Take them into a pistol grip. So you've got hands together, it's either called pistol grip or arrow mudra, it's got a couple of names, this one. And then you're taking the arms back behind you, draw the belly in to protect your lower back. And that's a very gentle back bend, okay? So like I say, the focus today is sort of upper back and shoulders. And then bring the hands back down by your sides, into Tadasana again. And on an inhale, sweep the hands up. Take that mudra again, or the pistol grip, look back, reach up. Take the weight into your toes, get that sense of a back arch. And then exhale, fold forward. Imagine you're going over something, and that will give you a bit more space. So folding forward, and then hands come to the ground. Again, I'd say walk to begin with. I'm going to lose my headphones. If you want to jump, feel free to. We're in plank now. Lower down, come straight through into upward dog, or to the floor, and then upward dog, and then exhale back into downward dog. And the same thing of walking the dog again. Now, if you know you've had a hard day or you're feeling depleted or run down, feel free to go into child's pose at any stage and drop to your knees when you're coming down into plank or through chaturanga, so you're not exhausting yourself, okay? Take some slow, steady breaths. Think about the heels going in the direction of the floor. And then walking forwards. Lengthen through the spine. Release. Look to the knees. And inhale. Bring the hands up above the head. Look to the thumbs, which I can't do because of these stupid headphones. And then hands come back to the side. Okay. So next inhale, we're going to take our hands up. And then we're taking them back into cactus arms. So have your hands, it's this shape basically. Let your fingers come back. And again, a little bit of a back bend. Okay. So just feel that. And then bring the hands up. Look to the thumb. Exhale, that's folding forwards, imagining you're going over something which will give you a nice straight spine. Look to the knees. Inhale. And then hands to the floor. Again, step or jump back, your choice. And if you, like I said, if you want to make it easier for yourself, drop to your knees and lower down, thinking about keeping the elbows in and concentrating on your alignment, which is going to be shoulders and bottom coming down at the same time. Come through into upward dog. And then exhale back into downward dog. And this is where things are going to get slightly different now. So I'm going to ask you to raise your right leg and come into three-legged dog. So you're letting the right foot drop towards the left shoulder. And then bring the leg forward into a low lunge. Drop the back heel. You may want to get back knee. You may want to get something under the knee. Again, use all the props you've got at your disposal. Take the hand into the pistol or arrow mudra again. Take the hands up above the head and lean back. Look up to the hands. And you should feel this in the back and possibly in the quads as well. And then exhale, come forward. Step back into plank. Come back into downward dog. Lift the left leg up. Let it drop towards the right shoulder. And same procedure. So your arms stay straight when you're doing three-legged dog. It's a strong stretch for the hips. Bring the leg forwards. If you need to adjust it with your hand, feel free to do that. Drop the back leg down. This is called a low lunge. Hands come into where you've got index fingers together and the rest are, palms clasping each other. I would suggest, it's up to you, optional, but I would drop the back foot as well and have it in contact with the floor. And then look up. And then exhale. Come forward. Take the leg back. And you're in downward dog again. 5 breaths here. If you'd like to just come onto your toes and then bend the legs and take your torso towards your thighs, that can give you a nice lengthening in the back. And then I find if I stick my bum up in the air, then I'm still on my toes, it just gives a tilt in the pelvis that helps to stretch the legs a bit. So an easy way of doing that would be to just come onto your toes, stick your bum in the air, and then push the heels back towards the ground. Just give a slight shift in the pelvis. Okay, so right leg again is coming up. Sweep it forward. Come up into warrior pose. So for warrior, you've got hands. So we're doing warrior 2. Hands pointing. You're looking down your middle finger. Do check that your knee's not caving in off the front leg. Push actively into the back leg. And then reverse warrior. Bring the hand up above the head. Take the left hand round, wrap it around your waist. And I think look up towards your hand. If you want to deepen the bend, you can go onto your right toe. So the front leg come up onto the toe. Give you a bit more of an arch. And then release that. Bring the arm down onto the right thigh and left arm comes up and over the head. And you're looking, this is if you're trying to look through the arm. That makes sense. So you're really reaching. It's a strong stretch down the whole side of the body. Push into the back leg. If that feels too strong on your knees, you could always drop to the floor and do a variation where you've got the knee supported on the floor. If you want a gentler, kinder to yourself version, then this would be the modification, okay? And you can do this and do child's pose rather than downward dog. All right, and then we're going to release that by coming to the floor. Take the foot back. Come down through sun salutation into upward dog. Exhale back into downward dog. And then his left foot now is coming forward. And you're coming up and it's warrior again. So same procedure. Arms come out. looking down the middle finger. Slow, steady breaths. And then bring the hand onto the side, or it can go on the inside of the foot if that feels comfortable for you. It's whichever feels better, really. And then you're reaching towards the wall or whatever. It's just something just out of reach. And pushing into the back leg. Slow, steady breath. 5 breaths here. And then bring the hands down. Step back into plank. And then lowering down. So again, you can come to your knees. Lower down with control. Come to the floor. So, I'd like you to bring the feet together. And then on an inhale, there's 2 parts to this pose. I hope you can see me okay. I'll demonstrate this first one. Inhale, come up with the torso and just stabilize the pelvis. And then on the next inhale, take the legs as wide as you can. So these are not weight bearing. Elbows are in close to the ribs. And then scissor the legs back together. Release the legs down. Hands in front. Bring the forehead to rest on the palms, back of the palms, and wiggle your bum. So what this does is it targets the muscles very deep in the leg. So it's very good if people get sciatica, this one. And obviously it's a back bend as well. So do it 3 times. Hands come in beside you. Elbows are in quite tight. Inhale, lift up the torso. Breathe out. And then next inhale, take the legs back as far as you can. Pointing out like scissors, like open scissors. Couple of breaths here. See if you can get a little bit higher. And scissor the legs. Release the legs. Bring the hands in front of the head and relax down. And wriggle your bum to release it. Last one. Hands come close to the ribs. You're looking down so as not to jar the neck. So inhale, torso comes up, but the head is looking, the eyes are looking down. And then on the next inhale, legs again. Like I say, these wrists are not really weight bearing. 3 slow, steady breaths. And then legs together, release down. And just rest for a second. Wiggle your bum to release the lower back. Okay. And then push yourself back up onto your knee. So this is a bit where I wanted the belt and the block if possible. So you're putting the block or the book between your thighs. So what this is to do is this is a sort of build up to when you go back into saddle, camel pose rather, when you go back like that. So this is building up to that. The block just allows you to rotate the thighs in and gives you the sense of making the legs active. And then the belt was for a shoulder stretch. So what you're going to do here, so you're gripping the block to get that awareness of how it's the whole of the body. And then get your belt, it can be any sort of belts or socks, whatever you've got. Take the arms up above the head. And you want to have it so that you can bring the arms straight down. Okay, so if you're tight in the shoulders, it's quite wide, which is the case for me. Inhale up, and you'll just exhale, grip the block, and take the hands back down behind you. Inhale up, above the head. If you haven't got a belt, then you can take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, and lean back like that and keep gripping the block, okay? And that will give you a similar opening. And this is such a good counter stretch to time in front of the computer. So get to as wide as you need to. Exhale, belt comes down. Inhale, belt up. Don't forget to grip the block. You can kind of forget to, but we want to make the legs active, and you're rolling the side in. That makes sense? Up the side. Do this 3 more times. Exhale back. Inhale up. Everyone looking okay? Good. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. And inhale up. Great. And then let that go. So stay with your block. Going to come onto our backs, or your book. I hope it's not too heavy, your book. And this is just working the shoulders. But again, it's surprisingly effective. These simple ones are really good. So you're going to get the, if you know you've got lower back issues, then please do keep the feet on the floor. You're getting hold of your book or your block, and you're holding it with your fingers splayed. And then again, you're going to exhale, and you're taking the block over the head. If you don't have a lower back problem, you can stretch the legs out. That's absolutely fine. Exhaling. Hands are active, so the fingers are stretched apart. They're not gripping the block at all. The block's just between the palms. And you exhale and you bring it over the head. It doesn't have to get to the floor. It's a really good shoulder opener. So we're going to do this 8 to 10 times. So moving on your own breath. 4 for me. 5. 6. 7. 8. We don't get this flexion in the shoulders very often, so it's a really good exercise. 9. And 10. And if you do this at the start of the session and at the end, you'll tend to find that you've got much more flexibility in terms of range of movement. It's quite impressive. So we're going to stay on our backs, and we're going to do a shoulder stretch. So I'm saying we're going to stay on our backs, actually we're rolling onto our front. So we're going to roll onto our front, take our hands into a T shape. I hope you've got enough space at home. We're taking your hands into a T shape, like this. And then I'll demonstrate by rolling away from you. I'm going to keep my left arm on the floor, and I'm taking my body, my right foot over towards the floor behind me. It doesn't have to get there. This is a stretch for the front of the shoulders for the pectoral muscles, okay? So staying here, my head is on the floor, and just breathe. And come back to lying on the floor with this T shape with the arm, and do the same again on the other side. So take the legs back. Again, like I say, really, it's not about where the leg gets to, the stretches to the shoulders. You don't want pain in the elbow or in the inner arch of the elbow. If you get that, I would suggest going into cactus arm at the back. Slow, steady breath. And then we come back onto all fours. So push up. So you're in on all fours. And we're going to do cat-cow, just to lubricate the whole of the spine. So moving on your own breath, on an inhale, crown of the head and base of the spine, point towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, you're re-arching the other way. Inhale, crown of the head. Exhale, imaginary tail between the legs. Inhale. And then I'm sorry, I just can't resist it because I know we're all spending far too much time on the computer. Hands out to the side. Arch the back. This is such a good stretch for the wrists. So moving on your own breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Feel the ripple, that really nice ripple. And that mobility, it's a bit of a feat of engineering really, the spine. And then we're going to take the hands back behind us, which can be very strong. So if that feels too strong on your wrist, ease off a bit. Same thing. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, and then I'm going to ask you to come back onto your toes. So this is a toe stretch. If that's not comfortable, you can alternate with coming up. Yeah. So it's a very good stretch. Think about, if you're okay, you can think about trying to get this little toe in contact with the floor. And then we're just, to take our mind off it, we're going to exhale, have this imaginary beach ball in the hand, and then inhale into cactus arms. Like I said, if you want to come up for cactus arms and release the toes a little bit, feel free to do that. So beach ball, cactus arms on the inhale, 3 times. Last one, beach ball, so pushing back between the shoulder blades, and then inhale, cactus arms. And then come back onto all fours. Give your toes a little wiggle. Release them. And as a counter stretch, come onto the feet, so the feet are pointing back now. And just lift the knees up off the floor. See how that feels, okay? So that's in the quads. And then coming forwards again. This is very gentle, no weight bearing. You're just resting the hands on the floor. So back of the palm, the back of the hand on the floor with a straight hand. Do the other side. So it's like this. There's no weight bearing at all. And it's just getting the wrists to their full range of movement. Let that go. And the next one is another one for the shoulders. So I'm going to do my right arm first. So you're staying on all fours. You're bringing your hand up, following it with your eye, rotating it 3 times back behind you. And then you thread the arm underneath the body. Okay? And come down onto your side. So this is it's a very nice shoulder stretch, but it also gets into the side of the body as well. Okay, and then come back out of that. And same again on the other side. So now it's left arm's coming up, following the hands with my eyes. 1, 2, 3, and then thread through. And let the head might not get to the floor. If you've got a cushion, feel free to use it. And if you need to ask any questions, please do unmute, and ask. If there's anything that you want clarifying. Okay, and then release that. Gonna do 1 cat-cow. And push yourselves back into downward dog. And then bring the hands back towards the feet. And it's ragdoll. So you can either hold the elbows, if you like to, and make sure the head dangles, or possibly you might like to get behind the arms behind the knees and hold yourself that way, or behind the heels, whatever feels comfortable. You're just hanging, literally folding over. So this is opening up the whole of the back of the body. Okay. And then I'd like to push into the shins. So you're going into an L shape. And then exhale, pull yourself deeper. Inhale. And then exhale once more, pull yourself deeper. And then bring the feet a bit closer together. We're going to walk the hands forward. We're going to take the hands as wide as the mat. So this one's working the upper shoulders. So you're then going to push the head towards the floor. You'll feel it in the backs of the legs as well. So you're just coming forward with the head and then pushing the head towards the floor. Coming forward. Legs stay straight. Legs are closer together. The legs, it's like downward dog, but the legs are closer together and the hands are further apart. Coming forward, pushing back. So this is targeting the upper back again. Forward, back. And then we're going to keep with the upper back. So 2 more here. So the next one we're going to do is where you're in downward dog. And then you come forward in a flowing motion into upward dog, but you've got your toes on the floor. So I'd go easy with this one, Steph, for your back. If this feels too much, then come to lying on your back and do a reclining twist. Okay. So exhale, you're coming forward, toes in contact with the ground. Push back into downward dog. Come forward on the inhale. And then exhale back into downward dog. Forward. Okay, and then back. Now this next one is for the IT band, which lands on the outside of the leg. So bring your right leg up, and then going to bring it forwards just to our elbow, just to get an abdominal stretch, and then over to, so it threads through the leg. Okay. And you can think, if you want, about taking the foot off the ground. You can play with that. Drop the hip. So drop your right hip, and the stretch should be, you should feel that on the outside of the leg. And then, hope that makes sense. Hope I've explained that okay. Everyone looks okay. Bring the foot back. So you're in downward dog. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the leg comes up, comes towards your elbow, and then over to the side. You drop your hip and the stretch, and you're flexing the foot. And the stretch is down the outside of the foot. Okay, and then bring it back. And then we're going to take the right leg up again and let it go towards the left shoulder. And then come through into pigeon. So bring the foot through. I like to have props here. I like to prop it. If your hips, if your bottom's not on the floor, everyone just come back a bit anyway, so that you're not putting weight on the knee. So take your back leg back, check that it's directly behind you. And I like to prop, so I've got a block under my buttock, which is just kind of offering a bit of support, and it's just nicer on the knee. So this is pigeon. So we're doing upward pigeon at the moment. And then if you'd like to, you can stay with this back arch if you want, or you can come forward. Hands come together, so palms on top of each other. And then the head can rest on the palms or on the backs of the hands. And just release down into this. You want to think about trying not to tilt. So you want to think about being, if you could balance a cup on your back, that's what you're aiming for. And then come like that. So push back into downward dog. Maybe walk the dog. And same again on the other side. So left foot comes up, coming back. Bring it through. And don't adjust the foot. Over time, the foreleg might be horizontal, or, I mean, mine isn't. I'm very tight in the hips. But I don't want you to adjust the position. When the foot comes down, the foot stays down. The only thing I'd like you to do is maybe just come back a bit so you're not taking the weight onto the front knee too much. Does that make sense? And then we're in upward dog. So upward dog, what about upward pigeon? Everyone okay? That's good. And some people love this, some people hate this. It's one of those ones that just seems to get a strong response either way. And now if you'd like to, come forward. If that doesn't feel nice for you, then stay in upward position of the pigeon. And let the body settle. So it's a passive stretch, working strongly into the hips and the outside of the thigh, the IT band. Just settling. Slow, steady breath. And then we're going to release out of this. So we'll come back into downward dog, just to stretch out from this. And then I'd like you to come to the floor. We're going to do another shoulder stretch. So this shoulder stretch, you're coming down onto all fours, coming into Sphinx. And then you're going to just thread the hands underneath the body and try then to, so it's a strong stretch on the outside of the shoulder. Try to rest your head down, so it might be nice to get something to pop the head on. Otherwise, there's a sort of problem. You tend to think, how do I breathe? And the hand is facing, so you've got the back of the hand on the floor, palm facing up.
All right, darling. What does you order?
Sushi.
Oh, what have you to do? Sorry, I'll do that.
Last few days, I have eaten chicken wings, McDonald's.
Okay, sorry about that. How's everyone finding that? All right, good. And then come out of that, come back to Sphinx again. And then you're going to do the other side. So now set the other arm through. And that looks good. And then from here, I'd like you to just roll onto your side and reach back and see if you can get hold of the back foot. So this is called cat's tail. So you've got the one foot, top leg is extended out in front of you, and the back foot is reaching and has hold of the toes of the foot. If you can't get to the toes of the foot, you could use your belt to hook the foot, or possibly grab the fabric of your leggings, and then you're pulling the heel in towards your bottom. I'm going to roll my shoulder back. And then release that, please, and then do the same thing on the other side. So usually you start that by going onto your back. So you're going to go onto your back, roll your way over. Take the leg up into the air, the leg that's going to go across the body. Take it across that space, and then reach back and get hold of the bottom leg. So you're on the side of your body. If you find it hard to get hold of it, you need to be on the side of your body, yeah? That'll make it a bit easier. And then the front, the top leg is extended straight in front. And you should, within a couple of seconds, really be able to reach and get a firmer grip. So just pulling that back. Okay, and then let that go. We're going to go onto our back, and we're going to roll ourselves up to sitting. So this is just a really good one for stimulating the spine. So you can take your hands behind the knees, and you're going to roll a few times. So do check behind you that you've got space to do this. So rolling, coming up, feet to the floor, going back as far as you can. And then come up, and we're coming straight into boat. So this is an abdominal. Okay, it's an abdominal strength. Let's say the first one for boat is you want to get a nice straight back. That's the key. Okay, and then you can keep the legs like this, or you can keep hold if you want. If you feel that you're okay to bring the hands up, bring the hands up. You could do the full pose if you wanted, but I'm going to keep my arms bent, and then I'm going to take my hands to the side. Inhale, arms above the head. Exhale, down to the side. Inhale above the head. Exhale, down to the side. Inhale above the head. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Don't let the boat sink. Keep lifting. Exhale. Great. And then let that go. Draw the feet in. And just as a counter stretch, pull either with the feet, just straighten the back. Okay, and then we're here, now we're in, this is Baddha Konasana. If you know you're tight in the hips, feel free to get something to sit on. So that's, I find it really helpful. So feet are together. That's the important bit, is that the heels are touching. And then take, so it's like opening a book, that was how it's described to me. You're just peeling the feet apart. And this gets a stretch down the outside of the leg. So it's the IT band again. So heels touch. It doesn't matter how far apart you open the feet. It's heels touching. That's the important bit in this. And then you can, if you want to take it a bit deeper, you can place the hands into the inner thigh and come forward. 5 breaths here. Okay, and then inhale, come up. Take the right leg out to the side. Bring the left leg into the side. Take the hand, so the right hand is going against the right thigh. And then bring the left hand onto your head. Inhale, look up, and think about taking that elbow back. Inhale, look up, elbow back. Inhale, look up, elbow back. And then if you want to, you can stretch the left arm towards the right toe. So, and you're looking up still, you're looking, so the arm is back, and it's a strong side stretch. And then bring the arm back, bring the body up, and swap to the other side. Actually, before we do the other side, we're going to ask you to cross the legs and rotate in a circle. So this is just to release. So it's 1 breath for each rotation. The head is part of the spine, so you want to keep the head moving with the spine. And change direction, please. Go the other way. See how far you can lean. So really working into the hips. Make that the last one. And now the left leg's coming out to the side. Right leg is in against the thigh. Left arm goes against left leg. And then right arm's coming onto the back of the head. Inhale, look towards the right arm, looking towards the right elbow and pushing with your left thigh against the, if you've got the leverage, you might not be in contact with the left thigh. If not, it's fine, just get that action. So it's a twisting action. And also, we're opening up the whole of the side of the body. Inhale, elbow back, it's strong. You don't want any strain in the knees. If that's happening, ease off. And then release over towards the foot possibly. So intensify the stretch. And then bring the hand up and the body up. Draw the leg in. And we're going to do those rotations again, okay? So start from whichever direction you like. One breath is one rotation, and trying to go as far out as you can. So you're almost toppling over. If you're toppling over, you've not got far to fall. And then change direction, go the other way. Great. And then from here, we are going to come back onto all fours. We're going to do the sequence that we did at the start. We should have more space in it now. So this is where you push up into downward dog. And then you take your right leg up and back towards your left shoulder. Keep the arms straight, so that's a strong hip stretch. Bring the foot forward into a lunge. Drop the left knee to the floor. Take the hands into the pistol grip. Bring the hands up above the head. Look to the hands. And then exhale. Come up into warrior. Warrior two. So looking down the fingers. Push the outside edge of the back leg. And then over into intense side stretch. And then from here, we're going to come forward. So coming forward, so the feet are still spread quite wide. Bring the hands onto the legs and turn to look over your shoulder. So the arms stay straight and you're pushing the hand against the side, well, the knee really, but gently, and turning 3 times on each exhale, you're looking over a shoulder. Inhale, exhale. Inhale as you turn, exhale as you look over the shoulder. And then bring the hands to the floor. So we're going to do, it's where you're pushing the floor away from you with your hand. So the legs are really active. The legs are pointing forward or slightly in, and you're pushing the floor away. So it's a strong stretch on the inside of the legs. 5 breaths here. And then inhale, come up. Come onto the toes. Might have to bring the feet in slightly. So coming onto the toes. Hands are in prayer. And this is staying here, trying to come up as high as you can. And then release. Turn the other way. Come into warrior. Okay, so I've missed pistol grip. Sorry, come into pistol. The hands come up. You can lift up the front foot, if you like, the heel to get that bit deeper. So come into pistol grip and then exhale from here into warrior. Comes down. Check that that knee, the front knee's not collapsing in. You want it to be, if you look down, you can see your big toe and the next toe. Look down the middle. And then from here, exhale down into intense side stretch. So the hand comes, you can either have the hand or you can have the arm resting on the knee. Push into the back leg, make that really active. That will really help get the stretch all the way down the side of the body. If your hand is on the floor, push it into the leg. Great. And then release. And we're coming forwards again, but this time we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. Let the head fall forwards and pull the hands away from the body and push them up. Imagine somebody's put their hands just on the outside of your hands and you're pushing into their hands and you'll feel that opening up the shoulders. And then very slowly, heel toe, feet back together. And we're just going to do a standing pose, balancing pose. So ground down through your left foot. Pick up your right foot. Bring the hands into prayer. And lean forward. So you want to make sure that this foot's flexed so the toes are going back towards the heel. Oh, sorry, towards the shin. Ooh, wobbly. And then release. And do the same again on the other side. So grounding down, leg comes up, bend the standing leg, hands are in prayer, which gives you a nice straight back. Right. And then release. And come to downward dog, but with the wide hands and the feet close together. And move the head backwards and forwards, just to open up the shoulders a bit more. Feel into the back of the legs. So you're moving backwards and forwards with the head and the shoulders. So you're bringing your head towards the floor, and that really opens up the shoulders. Okay, and then come down onto all fours. We're going to go into, we're going to need the belt, so make sure you got your belt to hand. So the first thing we're going to do is just, I'm not going to do, well, you can do camel if you want, it's your choice. So that you've got two options. You've got the hands against the leg here. So the hands against the bottom, so they're facing down. And then you've got your elbows coming towards each other. And you want to think about that sensation where we had the book between the legs, or the block between the legs. You could actually do that again if you wanted. So gripping the block, taking the hand on the back of the bottom really, and the elbows are coming towards each other. And there's a lifting up. You want to really push your knees into the ground, and then you can let the head come back if you want, or you can look down the body, it's whichever you prefer. There's an activeness in the legs. I find it quite helpful if I'm not too confident on doing camel to have my toes on the ground. That just gives you a bit more height. I put a block here, and then I reach back to the block, and that just gets me into the position more easily. So this is camel. If you're doing camel, really active legs. You're reaching up. It's a very strong heart opener. So 5 breaths here. Really active. So you're pushing down. That's what gives you the lift up. Pushing down with the knees. And then release out of it. So I just find that helps me get into it, because it just gives me a sense of not flailing around. But you do it with one hand coming back and then the other hand, or equally good, with it once more, elbows towards each other, and then that pushing down with the knees to give you the lift in the front of the body, thighs rolling in, elbows towards each other, reaching back if you want to, letting the head drop back if you want to, or point forward, whichever works best for you. Opening up the whole of the front of the body. Lovely stretch. And then from here, release, come to your sitting on your heels for a minute. And then the counter pose for this. So we're just going to release that, because that's a strong, lovely heart opener. So you're building up to that. You're going to get rabbit. So this is the counter pose. So you get hold of your toes, so your heels, and you curl the body in. Really, really curl it in. I'll demonstrate. So maybe watch. Curl the body in, and the crown of the head comes onto the floor. There's no weight on the crown of the head. Okay. And that's just a lovely counter stretch the other way. So everyone try that now, please. No weight on the top of the head. Great. And then release out of that. So we're coming to the end of the class now. Have your belt to hand. Come onto your back. And we're going to do, if you want to do wheel, just go ahead and do wheel. It's an inversion of your choice. I'm going to do bridge because that's still opening up the shoulders. So the reason I've got the belt is it's quite nice to have the belt under the body, so underneath your bottom. When you get ready to push up, check your feet are parallel with the mat, so your positioning is good. And then inhale up. And if you pull on the belt, it can just allow you to wiggle your shoulders out of or underneath the body more and get a bit more of a lift. Inhale. Come up in whatever way you want, whatever version you want. Really actively push into the feet, lift the hips a bit higher. One more breath and then release. Coming down one vertebrae at a time. And let the back rest on the floor. So we're going to do that again. Choose whichever variation you want. And on an inhale, up we go. Think about pushing as if you're trying to straighten the legs. So just give you a bit more lift in the hips. Five slow, steady breaths. Think about rolling the thighs in towards each other. And then release down. Top of the body down. Okay. Now you can draw the knees into the chest. If you're in wheel, come out please. Draw the knees into the chest. Do little circles of the knees. And then we're going to come into a reclining twist. So just let the knees fall to the right. Look over your left shoulder. And then let the knees come up and come over to the left. And look over your right shoulder. Take a few breaths here. And now, if you know you've got a sensitive low back, keep the feet on the floor. We're coming to Shavasana. You can keep the feet on the floor. If you feel like you've worked the back quite strongly in the lower back, then please do that. Any tenderness, any sensitivity. Otherwise, you're going to let the legs stretch out and you're going to let the feet fall out. That's opening up the hips. And I'd like you to check there's no tension in your jaw. Just move the jaw from side to side. And then we're going to scan through the body. So give up any worries, preoccupations, concerns. As you exhale, just let the floor and the mat absorb them and take them away from you. Inhale through the nose and then exhale just to get that sense of settling. Exhale through the mouth. Do that a few more times. Just inhale, feel the expansion, and then exhale, the ripple that goes down the spine. Inhale, sigh out any stale air, any thoughts that don't serve you, any preoccupations, anything that's been niggling. Just let it go now with the breath. And then we're going to take our attention to our right hand thumb, right index finger, middle finger, ring finger, right little finger. Think about the space possibly between the fingers or the contact. Check that you're not holding any invisible weight. There's no holding in the fingers. And then come over to the left thumb, left index finger, middle finger, ring finger, the little finger, And feel the space between the fingers, or possibly the contact between some of the fingers. The gentle curl of the fingers. Feel the back of the hand in contact with the floor. And possibly just check that there's no holding, not holding air. You've really relaxed all those fingers. And all the muscles and the tendons and the bones. All released and let go. And then bring your attention to all the points of contact between your body and the floor. So starting with the back of the head, and then the shoulders, curvature of the spine, feel the hips and the pelvis, releasing a little bit more, and the thighs, possibly the legs can release out, hip flexors can release a little bit more, and the feet will just turn out slightly more. Feel the backs of the legs in contact with the floor. Feel a sense of letting go, of not having to do anything, respond to anything, be anything, completely letting go, knowing that you're held and safe. And as you inhale, think breathing in, I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm breathing out. And as you inhale, may I be peaceful and at ease. And as you exhale, may I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be well. And then bring to mind somebody who you're concerned about or haven't seen for a while, but care about deeply. And as you inhale, say, may you be peaceful and at ease. And as you exhale, may you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be well. And then very slowly think about possibly taking the hands up and over the head and stretching and getting some length in the spine. Or possibly you're drawing the knees into the chest again. Moving the knees from side to side. Whatever counter stretch feels right for you to just wake the body up. And then taking as much time as you need, just come over onto whichever side feels comfortable for you. And stay there for a few more breaths. Easing yourself back into the room. Think about the sounds that you can hear. And then slowly bring yourself up to sitting. Thank you all for managing to find the time to practice. At this time of year when it's kind of cold and we just want to curl up. I'm going to unmute you all now.